Welcome back and good late afternoon. Today is Saturday, the 3rd of June, 2023. You can see that nothing has been moved since I finished working last night, and I'm getting a late start today. So not a lot is going to happen today. We're switching gears. At this point, everything that gets attached to this assembly is going to be attached with a coat of sealant. They call it Pro Seal. It's not Pro Seal anymore. It hasn't been for about a decade, but just like every tissue is a Kleenex, every take sealant we call Pro Seal. So we'll just go with that. This reinforcement ring that we mounted the nut plates on and put on the root rib yesterday has no sealant because it will be sealed up by the access plate. That's what's going to provide the seal there. So today I'm going to get started on the final preparations of the skins and the ribs for the sticky sealing of parts business. All the skins and the ribs, they need to be scuffed anywhere that we want sealant to adhere. So there'll be scuffing, there will be cleaning, there will be dimpling, and then when we do get into attaching these parts, there will be one last pass cleaning, which really shouldn't be that bad at that point because the bulk of it's been cleaned up. So today will be about cleaning up this mess so that I can make an entirely different mess. Episode 59, I think this is. So anyways, enough of this and get to more of this. I'll see you on the other side.
Getting the shop ready for work here. I left quite a mess, but you see that I got 2 new bags of Clecos there. They really didn't take up as much space as I had hoped. So who knows, maybe I'll be ordering more. That takes my total from 275 of those silver Clecos to 475. So we'll see. Actually, I said that we were going to get into scuffing and dimpling of the skins, but I lied. I didn't really lie, but I realized that there are 2 small-ish bits of work that are kind of perfect for the amount of time that I had available on this day, and they need to get done. And that is those 2 red pieces that I set on the table. Those are the fuel cap flanges that mount on the inside of the tank. Those need to be fitted and final size drilled and then countersunk so that they can accept the dimple that's going to happen on the skin. And then the second thing, there's an additional part of that, which I'll get to in a minute. And then the last thing that we have to do is another flange that mounts on the bottom inboard portion of the skin, outside, and that is the drain flange, which will be the very end of this thing. So the thing about this flange is that it has if you follow the flange around, you realize that it doesn't have a consistent thickness all the way around. It is shaped in such a way that when it's in place, the flange will follow the curve of the wing. So you just have to, it's not very difficult, but you just have to make sure that you get the orientation correct when you place this thing so that, in fact, the flange sits nice and flush against the skin. Pretty simple to do. Although you will see me, I keep studying the thing, wondering if it's symmetrical, if the extra thickness on the left or right inboard or outboard portion is the same. It is anyways. So yeah, simple process of just Clecoing it onto the skin and then putting a number 40 reamer on the drill and final size drilling those. And then I'll remove these 2 guys, mark them to make sure that they go back in the same skin in the same orientation. And then countersink them, which is pretty simple work at this point. And this countersink cage was already set for a similar purpose earlier, which is a countersink to accept a dimple. So I want to say that there are 10 holes per flange. Not that it really matters. Anyways, yep. Trying to figure out how I'm going to make that little clip. You have to fabricate this little clip that holds the vent line that runs along inside the top of the tank, and it shares a rivet with the flange. So you take a piece of 25 thousandths aluminum, cut it about a 1/2 inch wide, figure out where you want to make the bend, and get the bending. So the plans, as they're drawn, are full scale, so it's pretty easy to kind of hold your work up to the plans and kind of mimic it. I've got a piece of scrap aluminum angle that has a nice radius on it, so I'm using that to start the bends that I'm working on, and then when I get to the actual loop portion of it, I use this screwdriver that has about the right outside diameter to kind of give me the shape that I need. The tube that's going to go through there is a 1/4 inch outside diameter. Anyways, that's how I got to it. It turned out pretty well. You see me working it with my hands there. What I did on the second one, and I'll have a picture coming up here pretty soon, is I put that those nylon, there you go. So I just put that in there in the sort of tube grips, and it was nice and sturdy to wrap it all around, and it turned out pretty good. So there you got it. I think those are pretty satisfactory. So being done with that, it's time to, I think, move on to the drain flange. So this is the bottom side of the skin, very inboard portion. There are no rivet holes where that drain flange goes. The flange itself has some holes. So you just get it clamped on and centered over that hole. It's not super, I mean, obviously you want it to be centered, but it's not super critical because nothing passes through that hole other than fuel. The drain vent itself screws into the flange from the outside or from the bottom. So I did agonize over the position of that thing, clamping and unclamping, 30 or 40 times, but yeah, it never moved. So you just use the flange as a guide to match drill holes into that skin, and pretty simple. And so I'd been working 6+ hours each day for the last 7, 8, 9 days, whatever. This was a pretty comfortable 2 hours and 45 minutes to get this done. But these flanges turned out pretty good, which means that tomorrow we get into the scuffing and dimpling business. See ya.